Hello, and welcome, or perhaps welcome to Literary Canon. My name is Canon, and we're going to be talking about some books today. Today, actually, I'm going to be doing my first actual book review, which I'm excited for, a little bit nervous, never done a proper book review, but it's going to be good. I am still steadily chugging away through Underworld by Don DeLillo. I am about halfway through at the moment. 446 pages in, and there are 820 something pages. It's a big one. So I hope to finish it within the next 2 weeks. You can probably expect a video about this one a week after that, so 3 weeks from now. Fingers crossed. I also wanted to show a wonderful little book I got. This was provided to me, this was a Barnes & Noble gift card that a wonderful person who hopefully watches these videos gave to me for Christmas. Pictures by J.R.R. Tolkien. So this is a collection put together by his son Christopher Tolkien of J.R.R. Tolkien's artwork, and it is just beautiful. So there will be artwork, and then next to it is a few words written by Christopher Tolkien about the art and the process that went into making it, and where it's originally found and all of that. This is Bilbo waking up with the eagles after they were rescued by the eagles in The Hobbit, of course. Here we have Tolkien's depiction of Barad-dûr and Orodruin, or Mount Doom in Mordor. Gorgeous work. We even get some cool drawings that aren't necessarily related to the Middle-earth mythos, like this beautiful floral design with a bird, or one of my favorites, polar bear had fallen from top to bottom on his nose. This is just a really whimsical drawing of a polar bear toppling down the steps. You got Santa Claus on top. It's just beautiful. So I'm really happy with this, and it's on display. But today we are talking about The Blue Fox by Sjón. This is a very slim novel. I read it in about a day. Really, it's a novella. It's about 112 pages. I was feeling bogged down by Underworld, and I had this that I had ordered from Thrift Books. This came as I originally found out about this book from the wonderful YouTube channel Travel Through Stories, who did a review of this and then has talked about Sjon's other work. Really, this is a novella. You can read it in about a day, but it is packed tight with some wonderful imagery, some great themes, all sorts of stuff. Shout out Travel Through Stories for this. I'll post a link to his review as well. It's probably going to be better than mine, so you can watch that. So, Sjón is an Icelandic author, and he's really big over there. He's not as well known in America, but he's done some work that people have probably heard of. He's an author, poet, songwriter. He has collaborated many times with the Icelandic singer Björk, who most people in America have heard of. He's even played on a song with her older band, the Sugar Cubes, in the 80s, I think. He's co-written a lot of films. Most recently, he co-wrote The Northman by Robert Eggers, who has Nosferatu out right now, of course. And he's won some prestigious literary prizes, particularly for this work, the Nordic Council Literature Prize. He's big in Iceland, not so big here, but I think that's going to change soon. Hi, Meow. Hello. The wee Miss Mouse. The Blue Fox was originally published in 2004 in Iceland under the title Skugabaldur. Came over and was published in America in 2008, was translated from the Icelandic by Victoria Cribb. And they changed the title, of course, to The Blue Fox. So what we have going on, there's two separate narratives, two parts to the story, essentially. The first narrative is following a hunter as he is hunting down an elusive blue fox. His name is Reverend Baldur Skugason. The perspective is switching back and forth between Reverend Baldur chasing the fox, hunting the fox, and the blue fox fleeing from the hunter. And I really love chase and hunt narratives. I think they are super fascinating. There's some great ones in Blood. John Williams, the author of Stoner, wrote a novel called Butcher's Crossing, which is a Western, hunting buffalo, another great hunting narrative. Ernest Hemingway has some wonderful hunting narratives. So it works really well in this book. The chase lasts over a few days, and a blizzard happens. It's back and forth between who's on top, who's winning the chase. Sometimes the fox is fleeing really. Oh, Jesus Christ, that doesn't make any friggin' sense. Over several days, and even through a blizzard. It's back and forth between who's kind of winning the chase. Sometimes the fox is eluding the hunter, and sometimes the hunter is catching up to the fox. But it ends with both of them sort of at a stalemate. Snow is falling, piling down on top of them. And I will read from the first section of this first part of this section, a short snippet that kind of just shows off his writing style. It's gorgeous. Blue foxes are so curiously like stones that it is a matter for wonder. When they lie beside them in winter, there's no hope of telling them apart from the rocks themselves. Indeed, they're far trickier than white foxes, which always cast a shadow or look yellow against the snow. A blue vixen, I'm pretty sure that's a female fox, a blue vixen lies tight against her stone, letting the snow drift over her on the windward side. She turns her rump to the weather, curls up, and pokes her snout under her thigh, lowering her eyelids till there's the merest hint of a pupil. And so she keeps an eye on the man, who has not shifted since he took cover under the overhanging drift, here on the upper slopes of Alzheimer, some 18 hours ago. The snow has drifted and fallen over him until he resembles nothing so much as a hump of ruined wall. The creature must take care not to forget the man is a hunter. I think that section is just gorgeous, and it really sets up the themes and what we're going to be seeing in this short novella. Sjon's writing style is somewhere between fairy tale, myth, and a true modern novel. He kind of meets in the middle ground of these three things. It's really wonderful to behold. There's small hints of magic within the story, but it's not overwhelming. And just the fable aspect of his writing leaves you with a feeling almost as if you're reading something that has been told to you hundreds of times as a child. He weaves in Icelandic and Nordic myth with just regular modern-day narratives. So, the first section of the novel ends right before the hunter takes the final shot to kill the blue fox. And then the narrative switches, and we are following a man, a naturalist, who lives in the same town as the Reverend, named Frederick B. Fridtjonsson. Now, Frederick is taking care and planning the funeral for a young woman who lives in the community and has been kind of protected by Frederick, who has just died, named Haftis, who also goes by ABBA, not the band. Haftis had Down syndrome, and she was discovered by Frederick chained up within the wreckage of a ship that had crashed on the Icelandic coast near Reykjavik. She was beaten, abused, and pregnant. And Frederick takes her under his care, and she assists him around his kind of farmstead in the outskirts of their community. They live in the same parish that the Reverend preaches at. So this second part of the narrative is following his preparations for her funeral. She has already died, and we are watching as he prepares her coffin and prepares her for burial. This is one of the few novels that has ever made me cry. And I was not expecting that from this book. It is packed with emotion, especially for Haftis or Abba. Abba speaks her own sort of language. She has words that are entirely of her own making. And when Friedrich first meets Abba, he is overwhelmed with emotion. He feels so awful for her. And let me read you a snippet from this section of their very first meeting. This is Friedrich first meeting Abba. Wiping the food off her hands, she embraced the young man's head as he wept in the chicken hatch, comforting him with the following words: Furu am, Furu am. And it's made up. We don't know what that means. But it is revealed later on, at the very end, that Friedrich has compiled his own dictionary of the words that Abba says. We learn that Furu means person, and we learn that am means beautiful or good. So he is overwhelmed at the sight of her condition, how she has been abused, and he is weeping, and she embraces him, says Furu am, person, beautiful and good. So we get this understanding that Abba was pure, she was happy, she was innocent. The funeral scene, which Friedrich is the only person at, is hauntingly beautiful. It is poetic and gorgeous. Sjón really showed off his talents here. It was fantastic. So then the narrative switches back to the Reverend Baldur. He takes the shot, kills the blue fox, but the gunshot triggers an avalanche and he is swept away. He ends up stuck in a glacial cave packed in of the snow. And he's stuck there for several days. He is starving, on the verge of death, and suddenly the blue fox wakes up and is moving around the cave and talking to the Reverend Baldur. And they engage in conversation and a debate. And I won't spoil any more beyond that because that is nearly the end of the novel, or close, very close. But there's so many things going on in this book that it's a spoons, meow, that it's a wonder that it's so short. He is such a talented writer. I know I've said that so many times, but this is wonderful. I highly recommend this book. There's an interview he did where he talks about putting trust in the reader, saying fewer words and putting trust in the reader. He talks about inspiration from the Icelandic sagas, where if nothing happens over a winter, they just say the winter passes. And I will link that interview below as well. Spoons, meow. I think really part of the message here, not even message, but part of the theme here is distinguishing between the good things in life, the beautiful things in life, and some of the more ugly things. Can you guys hear that? He's going crazy. He really wants into the closet. There's a event that happens that you learn about towards the end that shocked me. I was not expecting it. And we also see the beauty of the small and the beauty of the grandiose at the same time. The descriptions of the Icelandic countryside are gorgeous. I don't know. I know I'm just rambling, but this book is really... Oh my gosh, he's so loud. It is a wonderful read. It is a short read. Perfect for the winter time. Perfect for the winter time. I highly recommend it. I hope I'm going to improve at reviewing books. This was not that good. But thank you for watching. Consider liking and subscribing. Share it with a friend if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.